it looks like there might be a world boss in New World in the Brimstone Sands update. Basically, somebody on the PTR has snuck into the... Is snuck the right word? Sneaked? Whatever. They got into Brimstone Sands, and when they got there, there's something that looks like a world boss. So there is going to be a spoiler in this video because we're going to see it. The thumbnail may have given it away, and I do apologize, but let me look at the video. It was posted by somebody called Prisanos333. There'll be a link to the video in the description. Now I'm going to play this in slow motion so that you can see it because it's only briefly on it, and I've got the sound off, but let me talk a little bit through it. So what's going to happen is to the right of him there's going to be a big giant worm effectively. Now what actually happens when he opens the map in a moment, there's a sound. Now we're not going to hear the sound because I've got the sound off, but there's a sound, and then he starts looking and he sees it, and we see, and I'm going to see if we can very quickly pause. Then he looks away, then he's like, what? And then we have this, a big giant sandworm, very Dune-esque, even though I've not actually seen Dune, so don't hate me on that one, but very Dune-esque in a sense. And this guy on the PTR, he's actually only level 34, so he's a bit apprehensive of running over them and wasting his time, so he doesn't really see much more than this. He sort of runs over a little bit and then he doesn't actually see anything, but that's a big giant worm jumping through the sand. Presumably he's going to be, or she's going to be attackable, or it's going to be playable in some way rather than it just being a little Easter egg, but obviously we have no necessarily way of knowing that. So they run over and they have a look, but they don't really see it again. However, you can't really say that looks like anything other than possibly a world boss, and maybe it's a teaser for a world boss or something like that, but that is spicy. I didn't see any of the people who got early access to this comment on this, so maybe it's actually an event, a little bit like the bolt, which I've also actually never seen, but maybe it's an event, maybe you actually can't attack it, but he doesn't go further ahead to try and look for it because, as I said, he's only level 34 and this is a 60 plus zone, so we don't really get a true insight, I guess. But yeah, so we don't see where it is, and I'll just go back, we'll have another little look. So we heard the sound first and a little bit of a rumble, and then you see the big cloud in the right here. For some reason he decides to look away, which is unfortunate, so we don't get a proper glimpse, but you can see it in the mist there, and he's like, I'm looking away, and then he's like, what is that? And it's a big giant sandworm, and boom, just as quick as it came, it goes. But you can see it sort of dives back in, and the tail is still sort of above here. The tail is now going under, and then boom, it disappears. Now it might leave back like some maybe materials or something like that, or maybe you actually do go and fight it. Obviously it's pure speculation, so there's not really much more to say about that. Hopefully it is like a world boss and it actually gives players something to do in the open world. I can imagine at first that boss being farmed. If you want to join me on stream, we'll go and try and kill it, but maybe it's actually just a trigger that if you get close it happens and you actually can't kill it, then maybe it's a teaser for a world boss. At the moment it's really hard to say. I don't think he's commented anywhere about this world boss. I don't think he said, hey, I went over to it and I saw it again, but it's hard to look at that and think, oh, is that anything other than a world boss? I don't know. Whatever it is, that's very exciting to see. Do I feel a little bit bad having it spoiled? Well, the minute we get access to the zone proper, it's going to be spoiled anyway. Everybody will be making videos on that, so yes and no, it's a shame, but it was never going to be remaining a secret if you wanted to follow the PTR at all. But that's very exciting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, somebody who's actually been following New World, you know, from before the game even started and has never wavered, then do become a member to the channel. It really would help, and you know what you're going to get, more New World videos. What you should definitely do though is have a most beautiful day, like and subscribe. Goodbye.